All righty, we are back with our Monday episode of Sean and Spin in the Morning, presented by Off Base Media, Monday, June 30th. And we are back, episode 30, kicking it live to start the week strong. We didn't do a Friday episode. I was out of town. And we wanted to do because Sean, Thursday was about the midway point. Some teams Thursday, some Friday, whatever it was. That was the 81 game mark. And we wanted to do our first half awards, but I was out of town Friday, so we had to push it back today. But that's what we got in store today, baby. How are we feeling?
I feel good. I'm excited to talk about this. We've done a little bit of this previously, and it's kind of surprising because it's only been like 2 months since we did like the early season predictions and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I still think a lot stayed the same, but I think a lot has changed too, though. So it's going to be interesting to see who's trended upwards, who's trended downwards, who's kind of stayed the same. So I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, I'm excited. So first half awards as we hit the midway point of the season. Then we'll keep doing all-star coverage and all that bullshit as we continue to push through. I think we're going to have a lot to do on Wednesday. Wednesday could be a packed day because I feel like whatever I missed over the weekend and then all-star coverage and all that stuff. But today, we have to push the all-star game stuff back and focus on the midway point, which happened, I guess, Thursday. But we're doing it on Monday for our first half awards ceremony. Should we go through these? Or should we announce the categories and then go, or do you want to go through it as we go through?
We could we'll go through it as we go through.
We got 12 categories here. So we'll see if we can find some good candidates to fulfill these. I don't even know, we could do this in whatever order, by the way, because do you want to end with MVP or start with them? Like, we have MVP off the rip, but we can go in whatever order you want.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with whatever. We definitely can. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay, well, let's just go in the order we have it on the doc. We'll start with MVP. So we'll start because I feel like MVP. There can be some talks about it, but what's really going to be interesting are the ones when we get down further, when we have like our, who's the most underrated person, team, or who's the most underrated person, who's been the most disappointing, who's been the biggest surprise. Those are going to be the juicy ones. So let's start with MVP.
Okay, yeah, because this is AL has been getting talked about a lot. We know it's probably either Judge or Cal Riley. For me, first half, it's Cal Riley.
Okay.
And then should I rip through mine? NL too?
Yeah, go with NL as well.
NL's hard, man. I had no clear-cut guy. I went Shohei.
So the only places we're different is I took Judge in the AL as well, and I'm going to tell you why. So of course I caught growing up. I love the catching position. I think it's the hardest position on the entire diamond, and Cal Riley does do it at a platinum glove level, which is unbelievable. And then what he's doing on the offensive side also is crazy. Like you take Cal Riley off of the Mariners, they're a bottom, they're a basement team. So he is an MVP to his team. The only thing is with Judge, what you might be getting into a little bit later is he's definitely going to win the Hank Aaron Award because he leads the AL in so many other categories. Like Cal, I think only has him on RBIs and home runs. Am I wrong?
Off the top of my head, I think you're right. I don't know I would assume Judge has the starting numbers.
I'm giving Judge a little bit more. I think, if I'm being honest, once I get to the end, I think it's going to be Cal Riley because of, like, for me, that position does mean a whole lot as well to what he does behind the plate too. So, but for right now, the only reason I'm going Judge is because he leads in so many other categories than just home runs and RBIs.
Okay, and did you have Shohei for NL too?
Yeah, Shohei for NL. Normally I wouldn't like to give it to a DH, but he's crushing the fuck out of the baseball, and now he's pitching again. So, like, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer. I really hope what doesn't happen with Shohei is like Shohei probably deserves to win MVP every single year, especially if he becomes a two-way player. He probably deserves. I hope they don't get voter fatigue and start like overlooking what this guy is actually doing.
Yeah. So I went Shohei. I don't know if there was a clear-cut guy in the National League, so I guess when in doubt, go Shohei. That's just kind of where I was at with the first half. I don't have him for the Hank Aaron Award though, so we'll have to continue there.
Oh,
But I do have for valuable on his team. Again, when in doubt, go Shohei when there's no clear cut
yeah.
guy. And I don't. And again, if you're to beat out Otani, you have to do something historic. And the same thing with Judge. If you're going to beat out Judge for MVP, you have to do something historic. That's when Judge beat Otani that one year is when he had 62 home runs. So to beat these guys that put up these unreal numbers, Judge on the AL, Otani in the National League, to beat out those guys, you have to do historic shit. We're seeing that with Cal Riley on the AL as I make my case for Cal here. I think when you have fantastic numbers, that's what just puts you in the conversation. So, okay, Cal has fantastic numbers, Judge has fantastic numbers. They get put in the conversation for MVP. From there, however long the list, sometimes the list is longer, right? But right now it's a list of two guys who have fantastic numbers. We put them in the category for MVP. From there, you have to decide who's the most valuable to just the most valuable of the league. Biggest thing I do off the rip is you try to find difference makers or who's what's the deciding factor, who gets my vote. I usually do what you did, take them off the team. How good's the team? You take Riley off the Mariners. I mean, holy shit, I don't even know. They're over 500 right now, Seattle?
I think so. I don't even have the standings pulled up yet.
I got them. They're 3 games over. You take Cal Riley off, I would assume they'd be under 500, probably. Right?
I seriously think they are probably a basement dweller if Cal Riley's not on that team.
And with the Yankees right now are in first place, you take Judge off of the team, they're probably not in first place. Let's be real.
Exactly,
so with that being said, that evens out for me. You take both of them off their team, the team's not as good. Okay, that evens out. Now I have to find a different difference maker or a different deciding factor. I go to position, and I just a bit of value the catcher a little bit more. You talked about it a little bit. I think we're all past it now. Like, we know what catchers do. You got to be tough. You got to be smart. You're the one that's kind of calming down the pitcher at times. He's the guy that's going to do the mound visits. He's the guy that's going to be working with the catchers, giving signs, calling the game, being a facilitator. And then on top of that, he's sweating his dick off through the mask. He's wearing he's wearing the equipment. He's a big boy. It's strain on the knees. He plays a lot of games for a big boy catcher. And on top of that, you look at what he's doing offensive production wise. I just have that being the valuable aspect leaning in his favor. But again, this is just first half. We'll see who prevails long term. But that's why I have to make a case for Cal and look at his valuability, if that's a word.
I think those are all extremely, extremely good points, because you're almost kind of swaying me a little bit, because I kind of wanted to be different and pick Judge, but I truly in my heart I think it's Cal Riley, because he plays such good on the defensive side of things. But we'll move on. We'll leave it at that. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But as we get on to AL and NL Cy Young, Spin, you want to take it away?
You ever see that one video of Mookie Betts and he's just like this? You ever see that?
I've never seen that.
Oh, okay. It's like a Mookie Betts zesty compilation. Okay, AL Cy Young. I don't know if this is a shocker for anybody. Tarik Skubal.
Yeah.
And then National League, I just rip it. Paul Skeens.
You see, I have the same exact one. But to me, it's so cool that these two guys are the AL and NL side. Like I think neither of them are going to have any sign of slowing up. It's been a pitcher's league this year. We've seen a lot of good pitching. Max Fried in the AL, Zach Wheeler on the NL, anybody on the Rangers, whoever you can pull, whatever. You can talk about DeGrom too. Crochet's look good in Boston also. Like, we've had so many different good pitching this year, which is cool. I love it when there's good pitching. But Paul Skeens and Tarik Skubal should be everybody's unanimous AL and NL Cy Young right now. And that just speaks mountains to what they're doing on that mound every day.
Yeah, given the fact that there's a lot. And I think the AL race is going to be harder.
It will be 100%.
We talked about Fried and Crochet. Let's throw Hunter Brown in there.
Yeah.
And with Skubal, I think Skubal kind of just is on top of him right now, but he got his 10th win. He pitched a gem yesterday. Got his 10th win yesterday he ties for the league lead with Fried with like 10 wins. What else was there? Like strikeout numbers. I think he might lead the world in strikeouts right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think he does. I don't know. With a really good ERA, I don't. Like Crochet might be right on his tail with strikeouts and crochet pitches today. So those numbers are going to fluctuate, but they'll be going back and forth in terms of strikeouts. Maybe ERA and wins will be between him and Fried. Maybe Hunter Brown enters the conversation at times with ERA. I don't know how these things are going, but I do think just the whole total package is Skubal. There's gonna be guys competing with. I think he's the who's the challenger, right?
Yeah.
Or he's the challengee or whatever the fuck it is. Like he's the king of the hill, and you got to try to dethrone Skubal, and everyone's gonna be trying to get a piece of his fucking, of what he's got. And I just think he's going to be in the conversation for every single category here. Innings pitched, right? There's going to be guys that are be knocking on his door, but he's the total package across the board. Like it looks like Crochet is a third of an inning more than Skubal Crochet pitches today. But they're neck and neck. Not like the Fried is that far off. You look at let's look at the strikeouts. Now Skubal leads the world. He has 3 more than Crochet, but Crochet pitches today, right? So he'll be on his tail. All these things. I also want to say for the National League, I think the next best thing after Skeens, I know you mentioned Wheeler in respect to him. I'm not sleeping on Logan Webb. If Logan Webb can keep it up, he's a strikeout machine also. He hasn't getting talked about at the rate that Skeens is. And honest to God, I don't dwell on win-loss record too much. I think in this day and age, we're a little bit past that. But, I mean, if Pirates can't hit for Skeens, how much under 500 is Skeens going to get?
He's going to have a Jacob DeGrom year. What DeGrom had all those years ago with the Mets, and it might be worse than what.
It's gonna be worse. Like DeGrom wasn't. What did I just see? Skeens. DeGrom is. I mean, Skeens is 4-7. Like DeGrom might have been like 12-10 or 9-8.
No, I think he was 500 when he won.
Okay. Well, let's hope then Skeens can get. I mean, and I don't dwell on win loss.
I think Skeens is gonna be under 500 this year, like 100%. I don't think there's any way the Pirates actually win him any games. But what I also wanted to point out is there's been a lot of guys this year who have been great, but Skeens has been just like that. Like Logan Webb's probably having hit the best year he's ever had.
Maybe he's been so consistent too over the years. I just feel like he always gets the Wheelers are gonna Skeens Wheeler, they're gonna get the notoriety. But I mean. Logan Webb is right there, and I bet you the people are going to be more keen on Skeens. So DeGrom in 18 and 19 were his 2 Cy Youngs. He was 10 and 9 and 11 and 8. So he was getting double-digit wins at least and over 500. I mean, no, it's not sexy. King Felix probably had a year like that too. But I mean, 4-7 right now. And again, I don't dwell on it because he still has the ERA. I mean, we got to look at ERA, strikeouts, innings. But that'd be crazy.
He's got. It's hard for me to put anybody above Skeens because he's at it with how bad of a team he has. He's still got a 2.12 ERA, 110 strikeouts on the year, under 1 WHIP. People are batting 177 against him, which is just great. He hasn't really had any moments where he's really blown up. Like Logan Webb for a little bit wasn't looking the hottest, but he's still sitting at a 2.52 ERA, 7-5 on the year with 120 strikeouts. So he's beating him in that category also. Also, I'm pretty sure he's got 1 inning on him in innings pitched. Mm-hmm. So just the only people that have over 100 innings pitched in the NL right now are Schwellenbach, Skeens, and Logan Webb. So that's something to keep an eye on as well too.
Yeah, and that's why I like Logan Webb because out of those 3, Webb and Skeens are the only guy with sub-3 ERAs. Not that Schwellenbach is a bad one at a 3.09.
Yeah.
But they're the only ones. But at the same time, you could say Schwellenbach and Webb are the only ones that have winning fucking records with Skeens under 500. Well, again, it depends what stats you value and stuff like that. And I think you can't kill the guy. I mean, he is my first half Cy Young, even though he's 4-7, by the way. But so you can't kill the guy for being on a shitty team. But when it's all said and done, how much more? What if he finishes 6-11? That would be hideous. Or what? No, let me say the trend continues. Let's say the trend continues. What is he, 4-7? So say he's 8-14. That's a lot of losses.
That's not great. I don't think, but Webb would have to bring his ERA down closer to 2 for him to even have it. The voters love Skeens. The whatever you want to call it, the committee, I guess you can say, loves Skeens. Everybody in the world knows facing Paul Skeens is horrible. I don't know if Logan Webb is as feared as him, I guess you could say. Even if Skeens goes 8-14, I still see him winning the Cy Young.
Yeah, and 14, that's a lot. I think they can clean that up. His
Yeah.
whip is absolutely outstanding, though. So he probably leads the NL in whip. I don't see anyone better, especially.
Yeah, he's Wheeler's just .01 behind him.
Okay, yeah, okay, and especially with the amount of innings. So yeah, once
Yeah.
Wheeler pitches today, so he'll be over at 100 innings. But yeah, I mean, really good stuff. I mean, that's what Skeens pretty much is the guy. Logan Webb pitches today too, but again, Webb has him in Ks and still a really good ERA. If you value win-loss record that much, that's something to look at. But I think it is Skeens, better whip if that matters, and better ERA. So it is Skeens. It is Skeens, but I mean, we'll see if the Pirates end up holding him back.
They damn well might. But anyway,
for personal accolades, they already are.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's been in the league 2 years. He's going to be the NL starter 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
which is crazy. That's unbelievable to begin just to start out. Like, I don't think maybe nobody. Like, maybe did Strasburg start his first two?
I don't know if anyone really starts two like that,
which is kind of nuts. But anyway, I digress. It's Skeens and Skubal to get started, and then we'll move on. We'll get to the AL and NL Rookie of the Year spinner.
Again, NL being kind of hard here. I don't know. There's always one league that kind of sticks out, and which one's more difficult.
Yeah.
So I think the AL is Jacob Wilson, right? I think
that's pretty easy. He's going to be competing for a batting title. He's going to be competing with Judge for a batting title, I would say.
I think the AL rookie class is better. I think there's more notable guys on the AL side for rookies, but it's easier to make my choice. So in a bigger crop, there's one guy that sticks above more than anyone. Where the National League, it's like a lot of just like here, it's like who do you choose from like the middle of the pack? I went Drake Baldwin though.
So I did too. I went with Drake Baldwin as well.
Unless I'm totally missing someone.
I don't think we are. There isn't really anybody else that you can throw in there. Like it's been a disappointing season for the Braves as a whole. But Drake Baldwin's been kind of a bright spot for him. They kind of found that they have their catcher of the future kind of thing. Let me get up his stats real quick. Sorry, I didn't have him up already. He's batting .280 on the year, 26 ribbies. 9 home runs. It's nothing that's gonna blow anybody away. But he's having a very, very solid season in an NL where the rookie class just kind of isn't there this year.
Yeah, one hit in his last 11 ABs, but it's a homer, and he's still hitting .280. And they invested in this guy. I mean, they got rid of d'Arnaud. I don't know if that was a trade or what happened with him, but d'Arnaud's with the Angels. That was his first year there, so they made room. They made sure they had a spot for Drake Baldwin. They like this dude, and he's stepped up. They've looked at him to be a top of the order bat now as a rookie.
And you think about it, they're having what's it called? He's splitting time with Sean Murphy, and Sean Murphy at one point was an all-star. So it kind of speaks, levels to what this kid can do behind the dish and at the plate. So
yeah, I think the only other guys, if we're just going to talk about the NL side, I think Dylan Cruz was a favorite, right? He's not there. I think the only other guys are going to be guys that have kind of been like guys who have come up in the second half. Like they weren't anticipated at the beginning of the season, but they're big name prospects that have since come up. Think of a Chase Burns who pitches today in Boston.
Yeah,
but he's only thrown 5 innings so far in the first half, so he could trend well, I think. But as of right now, you got to go with the guy who's played more. And then there's also Jacob Misiorowski, who is a big fucking name on the NL side. But in 3 starts, 16 innings pitched, he's looked fantastic. He's 3-0 in that span. He's really only given up 3 hits in those 16 innings, 3 hits in 3 games. So Jacob Misiorowski, but again, it's only 3. That's 3 starts. I got to see. I don't even know if he's if he gets sent back down. I don't even know if he'd be qualified as a rookie.
And if they send him back down, I'll lose it because he's looked unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna, but I'm just saying, I don't even think his numbers qualify as if you look at who's a rookie, it's he's technically a rookie, but if he gets banged up or something, God forbid, and he would be considered, and then came back next year, he'd be considered a rookie in 26. He wouldn't have the innings in yet to be considered one this year. So I have to see just more out of them. But I do think Misiorowski make a fantastic case if he keeps it up late in the season.
I think Chase Burns is going to be electric too.
So maybe he makes it close.
Chase Burns and Hunter Green as the 1-2. It's going to feed families for the next couple of years. They got to lock that 1-2 punch down over there in Cincinnati because that is going to be freaking electric.
It will be. But again, this is the first half awards, and I think out of the National League rookies in the first half, I do think Drake Baldwin stands above him.
Yeah, I'd say that as well. So next we get into the guys at the top, the AL Manager of the Year and the NL Manager of the Year. Two awards that I think are pretty much like everybody should be kind of unanimously in for, but I'll let you go.
I think I have different ones than most people.
Okay.
For AL, and I made sure. I think there's three guys that have to be in this conversation. We could get to the honorable mentions when we discuss after. But my guy is Joey Espada for Houston.
Okay.
Yep, I did go that route. And I think my other two are going to be between the other two I have will be one of yours. And then for the National League, Bob Melvin for San Francisco.
Okay, that's fair. So mine are probably more not. I don't want to say surprising, but they're. I have AJ Hinch and then I have Craig Counsell.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Cubs, obviously, we talked about they're at 49 wins right now, 49-35, still at top of that NL Central. They've come back down to earth since everybody was talking to them in the beginning when they had that extremely hard schedule. But with that extremely hard schedule, they were still one of the best teams in baseball. Still to this day are one of the best teams in baseball. Also, without a great bullpen and out great starting pitching as well. So, like, I believe Craig Counsell has done a good job over there kind of managing that kind of, I guess you could say, black eye of the team, because I mean their hitting has shined, but he still managed them in a way that they were able to win ball games even with not so great pitching. So I really appreciate that. But then on the AL side, I have to give it to the best team in baseball, who's been kind of shocking everybody, taking the world by storm, and with our boy AJ Hinch, man. He's been unbelievable. 53-32 on the year, best record in baseball. Oh no, they're tied for best record in baseball now with the Dodgers. Did not know that. But anyway, they've been electric. There are so many other people we can talk about. We can talk about the guy down in Houston. You can also talk about who I love is Kevin Cash over there in Tampa Bay as well. So there's a whole lot that you can do, but I'm going to roll with him.
Yeah, maybe I should have valued AJ Hinch a little bit. So I kind of did like three here because I do think there was three guys that stood out. And I did Espada 1, Kevin Cash 2, AJ Hinch 3. Maybe after hearing your case for AJ Hinch, maybe I should give him a little bit more love. And I'll tell you how I assessed my guys in a sec. For the National League, I went Bob Melvin 1, Ollie Marmol St. Louis 2, Craig Counsell 3.
Okay.
I can make a better case, I think, for Melvin over Counsell. You had a really good case for AJ Hinch. A lot of times what I do here is shock value comes into play here. So with the Cubs, I'll do the NL first. With the Cubs, I had them being a first-place team. Now, you make a great case for the pitching staff and the bullpen he's working with. We know there's holes there, and there's things that they have to address at the deadline if they really want to take that next step. But I look at the big acquisition for the Cubs in the offseason. Kyle Tucker, of course. San Fran made a big acquisition too, Willy Adames, and I just think both of those were big splashes to try to help the team. And I think Counsell has gotten the better guy. He's gotten the all-star here, where Adames hasn't really been that to that extent. So I think there's kind of some holes in San Fran as well. But I also have to look at the shock value where I had the Cubs winning because they had the splash of Tucker. That's a big splash in an aircraft carrier, where Melvin is kind of working with a group of dudes who, yes, there's an identity now for the first time in a long time. They finally bring over Devers. That was their finally kind of getting the that big superstar. That they did that midway through, like the midway point or whatever it was. Either way, Melvin working with that, and they are way better than I expected. So 45-39, I had them kind of being a fourth place team, over 500 and a good team, but better than I expected. With the Cubs, I expected them to be a first place team with the addition of Kyle Tucker. I had Adames on a regression season, but San Fran still being good. They're better than good. So that's why I leaned Bob Melvin. A little bit of shock value. The same with Ollie Marmol. I had him in the mix. Cardinals are way better than I expected. So I have to respect that.
So I really, really like that you actually brought up the Astros, because this is his. Did you say it already? This is his first year with the Astros.
Is it his first or his second?
It might be his second. I don't know if it's. it's his first.
I think
Well,
it's
anyway,
his
he's still in the early stages with this team, and it's like he hasn't skipped a beat at all. With how the Houston Astros play baseball, and honestly, it's just winning baseball. It's just what they do. 50-34 on the year, and we talked about it how many times. That is their division until somebody takes it from them, and he seems to be stepping in with no problems.
Yeah, and then while I was on the National League, Terry Francona not bad too because of the shock value in Cincy. But yeah, like you said, with AJ Hinch, again, I'm looking at shock value a little bit, and that's why Kevin Cash maybe. Yeah, I don't know. They're always in the conversation, so you got to respect Kevin Cash. He'll always be in this. If he could win the damn thing, honestly, and I would have no problem with it. AJ Hinch, yeah, that too, because I did not have Detroit as a playoff team this year, and right now they're the best team in the American League. One of the best teams in baseball. So you got to respect AJ Hinch. I think that looks good on him. But Espada, I think there's a little shock value with Houston. A lot of people thought that the end of Houston's run was this year. I still had them as a playoff team, but I think that they're one of the most dangerous teams in baseball. They have 50 wins. I think they're that dangerous. It's a different cast of guys every year. This is their third manager since they won in 2017, and they don't really seem to be letting off the pedal. So I did lean that. I think if you go Cash or Hinch, you can't go wrong. But those are the notable managers first half, and then I guess that's why the second half comes into play, right? You see who continues to kick ass.
All right, man. We'll move on there for a little bit. So I had Hinch and Council, and you had
Espada and Melvin.
All right, there you have it. So next we'll move on to a little bit more of the. Yeah, I don't understand. They're just kind of the smaller awards. We don't think they're small, but we have some that we just made ourselves, and then we're gonna talk about we're gonna get onto this one, the AL and the NL for the Hank Aaron Award, which we talked about before. That needs to be talked about. The Hank Aaron Award needs to give a little bit more credit to than what it really does.
Hank Aaron Award definitely needs to be talked about. Yeah, so this is like the best hitter in each league, just offensive shit. So I go Aaron Judge for the AL and PCA for the NL.
Okay, so I went AL. I have Judge. NL, I have Shohei and the NL still, but there's two guys on his own team, that I think could even give him a run for his money. And because we don't talk about him enough, I hate it. Will Smith over there at the Dodgers, he gets kind of thrown to the side because of how many stars are over there. This dude is freaking he's killing it this year. He's batting over 300 right now. Let me find him. He's batting 318 on the year. He's got 10 home runs, 43 RBIs, OPP of 413, a slugging of 532, and it has an OPS of 945 right now. So he is freaking killing it. He's fourth in the league right now behind his teammate Shohei and Cal Riley and Aaron Judge too. So and then also can never talk about him enough, Freddie Freeman as well. But I still think it's Shohei.
I think that's fair. I actually just looked at when I wrote these down. I think PCA was hitting a little bit better, but now in the 260s. I can't say I love that, but again, I don't know. There's a good chance. What is he at? 21 homers, 25, 2020 guy before the break. He's trending down a little bit. 62 ribbies really stands out to me. So I really like the that he's crushing it in the ribby department. He's got the stolen bases. So I mean, Ohtani has him in homers, but not by like a whole hell of a lot. So maybe like 7 homer difference. But also Ohtani will have like 30 homers by the break. And but PCA 2020 guy at the break with a crap ton of ribbies. I'm going to give him the edge with the ribbies and the 2020 guy if you're just going offense. Maybe there's other guys that enter the conversation because the NL has those loaded outfielders in general.
I think also like James Woods, you got to throw in there too when you're talking about this award too.
Yeah. So James Wood. I mean, I see how Tucker's do it. I mean, fucking, I always have to check in on Tatis. All those outfielders out there. So in the National League, they're so everyone. So either way, you have all that stuff. You bet your Freeman. Will Smith is that's Silver Slugger territory with him. I don't know if they give whatever he's doing. I think I don't know if the catchers are ever going to have like big slugger numbers. But we'll see what PCAs look like. I don't know. I really don't know. But Ohtani's always the safe one. MVP. Usually the MVP and the Hank Aaron Award can go hand in hand, especially if it's like so hard to think about. So I do think that's respectable. On the other hand, with the American League, if I have Riley as the MVP, you got to give Judge his flowers for his just offensive seasons. Although I think Cal Riley has him on valuable. I think Judge, if you compare just offensive numbers, obviously Judge is going to take him there. So there's the Hank Aaron Award for Aaron.
Yeah, he's had he's leading. Cal has him in just what we talked about earlier, just home runs and RBIs, and in that department, he only has him by 2 in each. And but in every single other stat, he's kind of crushing Cal in every single other stat. So I think that's a no brainer. He wins that Hank Aaron Award, no doubt.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Next, we get into this. So this one was a little bit harder for me. AL and NL comeback player of the year, my friend.
Get James Wood. Maybe James Wood. Maybe I should change my. I changed mine. I changed my Hank Aaron Award to James Wood. Who's
Did you see his stats? He's like 280, 22 bombs, I think, right?
Yeah, so he's got the ribbies that are going to compete with PCA and have more than Ohtani. He's got the same stolen base as Ohtani. The homers are going to not be totally on par with Ohtani, but the averages too. So you have like the homers and average that are going to be in the same conversation, but he demolishes them in ribbies. So it's a lot of like the same. It's a lot of similar numbers as what Ohtani's doing, because you just got to look at the offensive stuff, not the full round player. It's a lot of the similar numbers, except I love him in the ribby department, and I have to kind of compare like the bigger, But I'm gonna change mine to Wood. Fuck it.
I think I'm gonna. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay with Shohei, but I love that James Woods again. I'm a big James Woods guy. You know that.
Yeah.
I think he should have been an All-Star starter, but
I think PCA's average didn't dip to the 260s. I'd probably be more. I still respect that, but okay. Either way, we got comeback players. I listed a few here, but I ultimately went with Javi Baez for the AL, and then the NL is kind of crazy. Drew Pomerantz.
I went with Acuna.
I had Acuna in my list. So here's the list I had for NL, and then literally at the last minute, I was like, "What's a good storyline?" Because I think there's better stories in the AL, right? Javi Baez,
there's a ton of them. Yeah,
Jacob DeGrom, Spencer Torkelson were a few that came to mind, and I
Trout, Buxton too on top of those as well.
That's a good one too. I think the storylines of the AL are just there, and I did lean Javi ultimately. Who was yours AL, by the way?
Javi. It was Javi. But so I had a long list for him because I had Trout and I had DeGrom, because DeGrom's an awesome story too, that he goes down and he's still killing it, what he's doing. And then Buxton too, staying injury free. Well, he had that little collision, but like he stayed mostly injury free, and he's proving why he was this highly touted prospect so long ago. You know what I mean? Like he's killing the freaking baseball this year. But Javi Baez, like everybody thought he was done. Everybody, you could stick a fork in him, put him on the bench, like they've signed him for nothing. And this year he's playing all over the diamond and he's hitting the shit out of the baseball. So I think it just has to be Javi Baez.
Yeah, he's a good veteran presence on what otherwise would be a somewhat younger Tigers team. He's kind of revived his career in center field now. I think last time I checked, he might have been one of the leading vote getters in the AL All-Star for the outfield, that is. So whatever, yeah. Like you said, Trout, Buxton are good ones too. The DeGrom and Torkelson, but we both went to Javi. And then I'm looking at but those are all good stories, So it's like they're all very well deserving. I think if any one of those guys was in the National League, I think that would be like the front runner for the NL side. Either way, I had Acuna also on my list for NL with Corbin Carroll. We saw how his year went last year at a sophomore slump. He's killing it this year. I didn't have him winning, but Acuna is a good one too. Pete Alonso I had on here. I do give Pete kind of an upper edge over some of these dudes. But then I'm thinking to myself, those aren't like the nasty. Like Pete, I was going to have winning it. And I'm like, that's not really the same. It's not really on par with what like Javi and the Grom story, Torkelson, Trout, Buxton. Like, it's really not the same thing. It's really just a guy on a down year who might have struggled to re-sign.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's not the same thing. Corbin Carroll, not the same thing. It's like, you know what I mean? Acuna, maybe. But then I'm like, what's a really good storyline? And I'm trying to think. I'm like, Drew Pomerantz. He's a reliever for the Cubs. You might remember Drew Pomerantz from back in the day. He's been around. He's old. He was an All-Star in 2016. He was part of the 2018 Red Sox World Series team. But he hasn't played since 2021.
Oh, really?
And now he has an ERA of 0 in 25 games so far for the Cubs. So he hasn't played since 2021. I guess he was a little bit spent 2022. He was injured, I guess. 23, 24, just got past time in the minor leagues. But he's a vet. I mean, he was 34 and 35, kind of going through the minor leagues again after having what was really maybe like a 10-year career 11-year career in the major leagues, gets hurt, can't come back up. The Cubs give him a shot this year at the age of 36, ERA of 0, basically coming out of their bullpen, and they need bullpen guys, and he's been a godsend for them. So good on you, Drew Pomeranz. I don't know, is he a lefty? What's his deal? No, he's a lefty, yeah. So good on you, Drew Pomeranz, veteran lefty coming out of the pen, kind of doing it. And that was just one guy I thought of last minute addition to my comeback player. I like the story.
Only other story that I thought about when it came to the NL was Dustin May. That's
a really good one.
Dustin May's got a good story, but he hasn't played that well this year. You know what I mean? He hasn't pitched that well, so that's why I didn't put him there. But he's had a great comeback story that I think deserves to be talked about as well. Didn't he almost die?
He was on the IL as it was, and then he was eating a salad, and the lettuce got lodged in his esophagus, and he had to get it he had to get his throat sliced open basically.
Yeah, so it's nuts to see where he's come from and where he's at now, and he was a good arm in the past, but he hasn't been that great this year. But once again, cool story about how he came back basically.
I didn't even think about that. That is a really good one. Yeah. But you kind of have to. If it comes down to good stories, you got to lean the offensive number. So that's why I still will go Pomeranz over May. But May does have the really good story here, where he almost died, near-death experience from choking on lettuce, which is scary to think about. That could happen to anybody.
That is actually kind of freaking terrifying. I'm not gonna lie.
That esophagus surgery, dude. I don't know. I like salad as much as the next guy. I can't imagine lettuce getting anyway.
We also got to give some love to even Clayton Kershaw, 4-0 on the year with a 3 ERA. Yeah. So talk about some of those guys too. So the comeback player, maybe the NL has a little bit more than we're thinking of, but I feel like the AL just had all those older guys who were studs when we were younger, who have just come back into this. Dude, Javi Baez was one of the most loved players in the entire league back on the Cubs days. You know what I mean? Then he signed, looked like he didn't give a shit anymore, and now he's coming out. He's got his swagger back a little bit. Looking great. So
I love it. Yeah. I love that we both went Javi, and then you got to find a good storyline for the NL. There has been some goals now that we're brainstorming, but I still go Pomeranz. Acuna's a good one too, though.
Yeah, and the only sole reason I have him for NL is because of his numbers. His numbers are disgusting ever since he came back.
He's really come back for what 2 months now, and he is one of the vote getters for National League All-Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that? Soto's on there too.
Yeah, Wood is not. Soto got it.
119 at bats, but I guess when you hit 361 in that span, already have 9 homers. I don't know. He's already kicking major ass. So
yeah. So anyway, we'll get on to a little bit kind of a similar one, but we have our Most Improved Player of the Year award. With it, we went NL and NL for this, AL and NL for this one as well.
Yeah. So this is. Again, I had 2 guys for each league that seriously stuck out, and I'm sure I'm missing a whole bunch. And you can make the same case that comeback guys. I think there's a little bit the semantics of it make me kind of are the reason I went differently here. Mm-hmm. I went Jeremy Pena for the AL, and I went Mackenzie Gore for the NL.
Good one. Both really good ones. Doesn't Mackenzie Gore leads the league in strikeouts right now? I'm pretty sure, doesn't he?
Maybe the National League.
National League, yeah, National League side of things. I'm pretty sure he does. So that's a good one, very good one for the NL. I like the one for the AL too because I'm going to talk a little bit more about Jeremy Pena later. But for me, AL, I went with Jonathan Aranda for the Rays right now, and then NL, I went with your guy for. Not anymore, but he was your Hank Aaron Award winner in PCA.
Yep, that's a good one. Yep.
Yeah, because from when you look at his stats compared, I know he was a young guy last year. You know what I mean? But his stats last year, they weren't great. Everybody was kind of just this guy is just a good glove kind of thing. He can't really hit, but he has shown everybody since last year that he can be that kind of hitter at the plate for him. He's going to lock down center field, and he's going to kill it. But then Jonathan Aranda on the other side was kind of a no-brainer for me. Looking at his stats last year, the whole entire year, he had 234 on the year and only had 6 bombs. I guess he didn't play that many games to begin with. He was up and down. Kind of the past 3 years, he's been up and down out of the Rays organization. This year, there ain't no way they're sending his ass back down. he's got let me see real quick. He's got 10 bombs in the year, 44 ribbies, and he's hitting 325. Like we talked about with Junior Caminero.
Yeah.
Sorry, you know what I'm saying. But then him and Aranda at first base as well. We thought Aranda should have got more all-star votes than he did. I believe that he's had a huge jump and kind of deserves this award.
I like that. I do mention Aranda coming up on one of these awards here. We won't say what, but I do like the Aranda love. The other guy I had for most improved was a Michael Garcia for Kansas
Oh, I
City.
like that one too. That's good. Yeah.
I liked him 2 years ago, and I thought he trended down last year big time. And now he's having a really good season. And I did go with the PCA's teammate for another most improved guy. I want to say Suzuki. I like what he's doing.
He's been a rock star this year for them.
So he's been really good. But ultimately, I like Mackenzie Gore as a strong pick there. Jeremy Pena. I think PCA again because you have to look at. Again, it's improved, right? So like PCA was really no one knew who he was, and now look at him. You know, he's one of the favorites to everyone wants to see him start in center field in the All-Star game right now. You know what I mean? Mackenzie Gore, I mean, he's always been somewhat notable. I remember him with the Padres, and he had some good moments. And now look at him. He's going to be an All-Star also. Jeremy Pena, I'm surprised he's not a top 2 vote getter for AL shortstops. It's Wilson and Bobby Witt, and Pena's having maybe.
Bobby Witt's got that star factor though. Pena doesn't really have that, so that's probably why. Jacob Wilson was just a no-brainer because he's going to compete with Judge for best average in the AL. Pena, honestly, you could throw him in the MVP list, in a top 5 MVP for AL right now.
I don't know if I could name 5 American League guys above Pena who are deserving of it. So I do go there, but strong ones there. And there's a lot of different routes you can go for improved, right?
100%. But I think there's a lot of notable guys this year who have made that jump, but I'm going to land on those 2. Next, this one's a good one. Platinum glove on both sides, AL and NL.
Talk a little defense, defense. This is hard because, I don't always look at the defensive numbers, so I kind of had to do a little Google search on this one. But I went Taylor Walls, shortstop for Tampa Bay. Guess he's a fucking lockdown defender. I liked what him, and I'll always kind of value the middle infielders above most things here, or catchers. But I'll also go another middle infielder though for the National League, Nico Horner.
Okay, so I actually have 2. I have Walls for the Platinum Glove on the AL side, but the NL side, I went with PCA again.
Ooh.
PCA plays the hardest position in the outfield, and he just lights out. Like when he makes an error, it makes news because he never makes errors. When he makes a mistake, people are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this did that," because it's so shocking because he's so unbelievable out there.
Yeah, tough to disagree. You got to see some of these. I gotta look at the numbers more. I don't always dwell on defensive numbers. I guess because it's it's a fantasy owner thing. So I'm always keeping up with the offensive stuff, and that's what we talk a lot about. But yeah, we don't mention enough about defense, so it's a good one to add. And we have to see. And I'd be curious to know what numbers they look at when they are kind of voting for Platinum Glove. Like you look at fielding percentage and shit like that.
I wonder if it's defensive runs saved, over time. Yeah. I think they do that a lot. You want to also give kind of credit where credit's due. In the AL, even a guy like Denzel Clark for the A's out in center, he makes spectacular plays constantly. I don't know, what about an Andres Jimenez at second base?
Sure.
Something like that. I'd love to see catchers get in the mix as well. So you want to talk about Cal because he plays a good defense.
Patrick Bailey might have been last year's Gold Glover.
He's having such a goddamn bad at the plate though this year. It's really Pat Bailey. Behind the plate. That's the whole reason he stays in the game because he's that good behind the plate. But I think that's what they do look at a lot is defensive runs saved most of the time. Yeah, we got to start looking more at these defensive numbers here because I don't really always go into it. But again, when I do know Nico Horner, I don't know if he's a Gold Glover. I know he's been a finalist in the past, and I like Nico a lot. So I'll go with my boy, and I'll go I'll value middle infielders here. Middle infielders, catchers, maybe a third baseman, a center fielder. I think those are the big sexy ones that I kind of want to look at here. But I know Ian Happ plays a good left field if we're gonna go out of the box. But yeah, got to shout out the freaking the glove work, man. That's a huge part of the game. Because look, think about it. It's half the freaking game.
Yeah, it really is.
That's
Maybe
freaking.
maybe
Nobody
more.
talks about it because 95% of the time it's not sexy. You just are
Yeah,
doing a job that you're supposed to do.
yep. Unless you don't do it, then you get crucified.
Exactly. Exactly. And I know that firsthand from my good buddy at shortstop, Trey Turner.
But yeah, fundamental baseball, boys. Fundamental baseball.
All right. Then we get into this is kind of some of our own. We're going to talk about our most disappointing player and our most disappointing team. This is all over the league, basically. Most
Yeah.
disappointing player. I could write a freaking essay about all the people who have been bad this year, but I'll let you
Yep.
start.
Yeah, most disappointing again, especially since we're doing it all across the league because we're doing a player and a team, so it could be literally everybody. I had a lot of names written down, and I think the one that stands above them all is gonna be Jock Peterson for me.
Okay. That's fair. He was on my list as well. He wasn't as high as the guy. I got Adamas
He was on my list.
because Adamas, I'm pretty sure he's leading the league in errors right now and hitting like 212.
Yeah, pretty bad, pretty bad. Big offseason signing too, so that sucks. Now Peterson is in an offseason, so not as big as Willie. I did have Willie on a regression year, so again, some of it when you're talking about disappointing, it's got to be shock value and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I also went with the Rangers for disappointing team. Another lot of a lot of doors to go there. But again, it's shock value, right? I thought so highly of the Rangers entering this year. I thought Jock Peterson was going to be a great addition for them. Left-handed bat that can bat fifth in that order. The Rangers' offense was going to be killer. And now look at him. Peterson
Yeah.
is stunk, and now I think he's hurt. And historically bad start for Jock. I think he was like 0 for his first, whatever, and struck out a shit ton of times. And I thought the Rangers were first. I thought the Rangers were going to be like one of the teams to beat in the American League. I thought people were talking at the beginning of the year, and I agreed with the conversation. Rangers or Yankees? Who's going to be that? Well, right now it's like Tigers and Astros. So
Yeah.
the Rangers nowhere to be seen on this list. Of course, we talk about disappointing teams all the time. Braves, Orioles enter the chat. And then just really quick, I had guys like Ozzy Albies, Rutschman, Langford, Semien, a lot of Rangers on there. But again, Jock stands above because I thought he was going to mean a lot to this team. Rangers, I thought were going to be those motherfuckers, and they're clearly not.
So for my team, it was the Red Sox. I was super high on the Red Sox this year, as basically their whole entire fan base was as well. They're 41 and 44, 3 games under 500. And like I said before, when you look at that lineup on paper, you're like, how are they not producing runs? Granted, their pitching staff isn't great. Bullpen. Aroldis Chapman's come around and been one of the most shocking people in the entire world. I didn't pick him for the next category we have, but he's definitely on that list. But there are so many teams that you can talk about, like the Braves you can throw in there. The Rangers are one of the biggest ones. I've been seeing Rangers fans being like, you got to investigate our World Series at this point because it's been that bad. Like also on that team who you didn't bring up, who I was never high on him, but other people were, Jake Burger. People freaking loved Jake Burger this year. I was not high on him.
I wasn't either. That's why it's not disappointing to me. Yeah.
I could not understand why people were so high on this guy. He's never been like that great. But anyway, another one I wanted to talk about. You mentioned Ozzy Albies. I'll go with the center fielder out there, Michael Harris. He's looked like garbage at the plate this year. He's played good defense. He always plays good defense, but at the plate, he hasn't been great. He's kind of one of the big reasons they're struggling as well. But then also another guy on the Astros too, Christian Walker. They were looking for him to make a huge leap as well. He hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been great either. Kind of what they were signing him for. So I ultimately went though with Willie Adames. I think a lot of you kind of brought it up. Like he had a great year last year. That's what got him this contract. But I didn't really think he was that player all in all. But with the contract he signed, the defense he's playing on that left side has been atrocious. And he hasn't been great at the plate either to back it up.
Yeah, I had him in on regression year. He was on my list, but again, shock value plays a role for me. It's like I didn't like Rutschman this year, but I do think he's being even worse than I thought. A lot worse than I thought, realistically. But Adames is like, I had him on a regression year. He may hit 40 home runs last year with a shit ton of ribbies, over 100 ribbies last year for the Milwaukee, and now he's going to this big ballpark in San Fran. First year there, big contract. Sometimes guys don't live up to it right off the bat. Like Soto or whatever you want to say. So that being considered, I think all signs pointed to Willie regression, and at least I was staying away from it in fantasy type of thing. Even playing worse than I guess a lot of people imagined. So again, shock value is a thing. Maybe I was too high on Jock, but again, where's the line with Jock? Like Willie's getting valued here, like Adley's getting valued here. Like Jock might have been here, but I thought what he meant to his team was incredible. But like again, if Retro's playing, yeah, I don't know. There's levels to this shit. There's levels to this
Yeah,
shit. But
exactly.
there's
'Cause to be disappointing, you have to think they're going to do something great. And there a lot of the people we listed, like that weren't even our top people. They're valued pretty well on their own teams, on their respective teams to help them win, and they
yeah.
just haven't been doing that this year.
I think part of it also is it's disappointing because the Rangers were not a playoff team last year. They make some offseason acquisitions. I wasn't high on Berger either. I didn't even have him on the list. Semion's a good one too, you know. But
Mhm.
either way, like they make these offseason acquisitions, and I thought Jock was a good, solid DH for them to be kind of a middle of the lineup bat lefty. Somewhere in the like a 5-hole hitter deep in that lineup. If Berger was hitting like 7th for you, deepens that lineup. And yeah, you could put both of them. They could be honestly A1 and A1A and 1B, like for just disappointment. Because I just thought that those were going to be the reasons, or just help be the reasons that Texas goes back to the playoffs because they missed it last year. And I'm
I
like,
mean, what about
they make these offseason acquisitions now that can really propel them. And obviously, they both stunk. Jock has stunk even more. And I've been pretty much on the Rangers disappointing train for this whole conversation.
yeah, even the oh my gosh, what was I just going to say? All right, if I remember it, I'll bring it back up. But anyway, they have been disappointing as a whole. A lot of teams actually have been disappointing this year. We thought the Royals were going to be better. The Orioles were a huge disappointment to so many people, but the Red Sox really stand out to me as the Rangers kind of stand out to you as well. But we'll move on to a little bit of the happier side of things. We'll get to the biggest surprise. We're going to do player and team again for this one as well.
Yeah,
Once again, there's a lot of disappointing people we can talk about, but there's been a lot of surprising guys who have shocked us this year.
and surprise could be a bad thing too. I
Yeah.
mean, fucking the Red Sox are a surprise as a team, but I did go more optimistic with this though. I don't know if it was intended to, but I did. Biggest surprise, I am probably all right. I'll just go with what I got here. I was gonna try to make a last minute change. Biggest surprise would go PCA, and the team I have the Cardinals.
Okay. So I went with kind of a little bit of a simpler answer. I went with Jeremy Pena. Pena, because I thought like he had that run and that was kind of bad for the last 2 years. He wasn't great, anything like what we were talking about, but I mean, I said it earlier. You could throw him in a top 5 MVP category right now with how well he's playing baseball and how good the Houston Astros are. And he's been a big reason why. But then for a team, I went Tigers. Like I thought there was no shot they were even making the playoffs this year. This team has completely shocked me in every single aspect of the game.
Yeah, Tigers probably the better answer. I think you can if it was like an essay you were writing, I think I could make more points about the Tigers. I think they give you more ammunition. So I think I like that. But again, it's the Cardinals. I'm not going to really back it up too much. I just say like I had teams like the Giants, Blue Jays on here too, and the Rangers because they're a surprise to me in the opposite sense, right? They're surprisingly bad for teams like the Giants, Blue Jays. You mentioned the Tigers are surprisingly good. I'll stick with the Cardinals though. Stick with my boys. I guess the only thing I'll say about the Cardinals is this: for the longest time, on last episode was like Wednesday, and I think I said something like the Padres are going to continue to suck. They're never, even when you think they're good, they're going to be bad. Because of when I was like a little
Yeah.
my origin story on that, I gave you that. So oppositely is the Cardinals, where I was like, I've always said never bet against the Cardinals. I've said that pretty much my whole life because they're always usually good. Past year or two, they really have been a team that you want to bet against, And now look at them. There's like so maybe I just respect the Cardinals as an organization. So maybe with like not too much shock value there in terms of being surprised. But again, as soon as I kind of got off of that whole never bet against the Cardinals, phrase or motto, whatever. As soon as I got off of that, now they're back again. It's like don't bet against. You don't want to bet against the Cardinals again. So I love that they kind of steered me back. That was a good little surprise there, a handsome surprise, if you will. But here's some other players, though. I don't know if you had these guys. How about Hunter Goodman in Colorado, Chris Bubich,
Yeah.
Kansas City, Andrew Abbott, Cincy, Junior Caminero. He could honestly be an improved guy. James Wood also. I ultimately go PCA above them all. Pena's a
Yeah,
good
so
one.
I had Bubich as my number 2, PCA as my number 3. Basically, if you wanted to rank them, also. But you could also what we didn't talk about either is we could talk about any of those pitchers on the Mets too for the first half that they had. But
Eh,
we're not gonna do it.
no, what are we on surprise? Yeah, we honestly surprised if we would have had like a storyline thing. Yeah, maybe Mets pitching lasting the way
Yeah.
that now a lot of them are hurt and we'll see how they continue. But yeah, Mets pitching being what it was, maybe Royals pitching, whatever,
Mhm.
with Bubich at the helm. But yeah,
And then most underrated player. This one could go a lot of different ways for how you kind of view it.
yeah,
But because I went with two guys, like what? So the guy I'm gonna say, I don't think is like it's weird because everybody considers him a top 5 player in baseball. He just doesn't get talked about for where he plays, and I'm going with Jose Ramirez
mm,
because I just don't think he gets put in enough conversations for how freaking good he is year after year. Yeah, he's an all-star every year. I get that. I get it. Maybe he's talked about an MVP too, but I'm talking straight up storylines on MLB Network. They are never really talking about Jose Ramirez a whole lot. Nobody on ESPN, Twitter, whatever. It's because he plays for the freaking Guardians. That's why. That's the only reason.
yeah. I respect that. I was remember being high at those mid market teams, or maybe he's not even. It's just the Midwest bullshit
Yeah.
teams. They're never gonna get love. Um, I kind of think we're at a point where maybe we're past the J Ram underrated stuff, but I still think he is underrated because he could be an MVP fucking pretty much any time. And the fact
Yeah.
that no, he's not a household name, yeah, that's alarming. That's what pissed me off about years ago with Nolan Arenado. It pissed me off that he wasn't a household name. He's my favorite. He's my favorite player in the league, still
Yeah.
is. But I'm like the fact that Arenado is not a household name. Like, yes, he could be an all-star and be in MVP talks at times, and I still think he's underrated. Like, that's just how it is. So a little bit more subjective of a um, category here. For the AL, I went Jonathan Aranda, though.
I like that. He doesn't get
What
talked
about
about a
you?
whole lot at all.
Nope.
For yeah. So I also wrote like a Lawrence Butler over there for the A's right
Oh,
now
yeah.
because Lawrence Butler's got some pretty damn good stats this year. But he's not going to get talked about because they have Jacob Wilson over there at short because it is the Oakland A's who are playing in West Sacramento, so the West Sacramento A's, soon to be the Vegas A's. But also they talk about more about the other young guys on that team, like the Milkman, Nick the Milkman Kurtz from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We love him, big guy, great hitter, but Lawrence Butler out there in right field has been having a solid year as also on top of it. So I want to give him some love and a shout out as well. But then for my NL, I went with my guy, James freaking Woods. He's not an all-star starter. He should be an all-star starter. He could win the Hank freaking Aaron Award this year. Like, he's been unbelievable, and yet nobody wants to give him any sort of love. So
That's a good one.
I'm going with James Woods, dude.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. And I can make a similar thing with Aranda. That's kind of where because I don't think he's a top 2 guy finalist for first base. He has to make the team. I think
Exactly.
he
Yeah.
will. But again, Goldschmidt's going to get love being in the big market of New York, and Vladdy has the star power. You got a whole country to back him and get him votes. Where meanwhile, Jonathan Aranda is just super underrated. He's under the radar, but he's right up there. I actually think he's the most deserving
He
to
probably
start
is.
to start ahead of Vladdy. And now Vladdy's waking up at the power department, so he's making a good last minute push. But over Goldschmidt for sure. It should really realistically be between Aranda and Vladdy for the finalists, and it's Goldschmidt who gets the love in New York. Either way, that's why I go Aranda for the AL and the National League. Andrew Abbott, baby. No one's talking about Andrew. I think we didn't even talk about it when we were talking about NL Cy Young. It's not like we had a huge list for the NL. It was like Wheeler enters the conversation. Skeens at the top with Logan Webb as well. But how about Andrew Abbott, 7-1? He doesn't have the innings, only 80.1 innings, but 7-1 with a 1.79 ERA. I mean, holy shit, Andrew. He could be a comeback guy too. I mean, he has to be something. He has to be something.
He does. He has been really freaking really good this year. I mean, we saw
the innings go up though. Love to see the innings go up.
Yeah, but like once again, how old is Andrew Abbott now?
I don't know. See, he must have missed a little bit because he guess his first start was like the 12th.
Because I did think that he was missing a lot, but he definitely is underrated. He's one of the better pitchers right now in the NL, especially.
Abbott is 26.
So still a young buck. damn, the Reds, if they can lock down that top three, Abbott, Green, and Burns, that's going to be scary.
Seriously, it's been. I don't even know what Lodolo's doing right now, but they have some motherfuckers, and I think it's Abbott's been huge for them, and with the absence of Hunter Green, he's been that guy, and now maybe Chase Burns can continue to deepen the staff. I think he pitches today or tomorrow or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, holy shit, Abbott, basically a quality start machine ever since he's kind of come back healthy and entered back into the rotation. I love it. Who was your NL was
James Woods, and I think that's
yeah.
self-explanatory. Like
Yeah.
he's just getting overlooked because he's on the Nationals, because he's on a losing team. Got to give credit where credit's due. The dude just got intentionally walked 4 times last game. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's the first time that ever happened since Barry Bonds.
Wow.
It's freaking nuts. Hold on.
I wonder where he hits in the line. Who are they playing?
Let me find out. I'm gonna pull up the story right now. But for a guy to be feared that much and him not to even be an NL All-Star starter just because of the market team, they're playing Ron Washington over.
Okay, that makes so. Ron's been doing that. He's been doing it to. Is he still? What's the deal with Ron? Wasn't he a little sick?
He might have been.
What's the deal with Ronnie? Oh, he's gonna miss the remainder of the season. Fuck.
So I mean, it was I don't know who the Angels.
It's probably like their bench. I don't know.
It's pretty crazy what the Nationals have had in that outfield these past like 10 years. First, you start with Harper, then you go to
Montgomery.
Okay, well, I guess he's following in Ron Washington's footsteps because I think he was doing that at the beginning of the year, like walking people when they.
And they were doing it to Aaron Judge left and right.
I'm pretty sure he was doing it to Jose Ramirez pretty early in the year too. So like he's been like, we'll have anybody else beat us besides these stars.
And what do all those lineups have in common? I don't know who the fuck hits behind these. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who's hitting behind J-Ram? Who's hitting behind Wood?
Yeah, I have no idea. Probably not a single person notable. It's almost like, do you lead off like a guy like Jose Ramirez so that maybe that you have any sort of opportunity to get him home?
Maybe, but I mean, I like Quan leading off, and then maybe J-Ram 2.
Yeah.
Was he bat 3? Was he bat 2 or 3? I don't even know.
He probably bats 2, if I'm being honest. I don't know. I don't know a lot about the Guardians. I just know that Jose Ramirez is a beast.
But they just have nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, I think 2 is the new 3. You know what I mean?
Kind of, yeah. I think we've talked about this a whole lot with like your best hitter hitting 2 kind of thing.
A lot of times. I guess it depends. With Cleveland, it's so weird because, like, who else? Yeah, Carlos Santana, Mazzardo. They're both lefties, so if you want to separate those lefties, then you have to put
Jose Ramirez in between
them. Yeah. Whatever. Different.
Anyway, to our last award, going with most Steves spin. Yeah. Most Steves on the AL side, most Steves on the NL side. Who brings kind of the swag to the team, Spin?
For the AL, I actually had 2 guys that stood out. But of course, I had to lean Jazz Chisholm Jr., baby. You ever see this dude's smooth lefty swing, and then he rounds the bases. He's like goes home, and then Euros. So I gotta bring Jazz Chisholm. He's got a whole hell of a lot of steez. He's got swag with the clothing. I think he might have songs on Spotify. I don't know. He's also from the Bahamas, though. So come on, that's steezy right there.
Yeah, you get a little bit there, yeah.
And then for the most steez in the National League, it's Acuna. You see how the way he's been rounding the bases lately?
Yeah, dude, he's been pissing a whole lot of people off.
Like a whole lot of people
off. The ear hole with the Euro, the waving, and
he does something for every base. So I think he does the grenade at first, and then he'll like Euro step also, but before he even gets to he'll Euro step like where the third baseman plays.
Yeah, it's freaking nuts. Like, and it's also funny because I saw somebody tweet this. It's like you could throw at Acuna like 4 different times in one game, and he goes yard on the 5th, and he's still gonna do it. Yeah, like Acuna will never stop doing that.
Yeah, and I think it's a little much, to be honest with you. Like, it's a whole circus parade, like, when you're grounded. And I don't know, like, does he always do it? Like, no matter what? Like, because to me, it's like, what about the score? What if you're losing by 6 and you're just like,
I bet you he would. I don't think he cares. I think he's
doing all these things. You're down by like 12. You're like 7 games under 500. By the way, if Marlins win the series and Braves lose the next series, the Marlins will be in third place and the Braves will be in fourth. So like doing all these things, like I don't know, but that's what Steez is. Like you'll give a
Yeah.
fuck, you know.
He
He's
just
got
does not care.
Steez. That's the award. It's Steez. It's not like intelligence or like baseball IQ. It's Steez.
So I went kind of on a different angle than you did. These guys still have Steves to me, but for different reasons. I went with Duran over there in Boston.
Oh, that's
I think
Steez.
he's got a lot of swag to him. He's going to be the leader of that Boston organization. Now he brings that kind of energy I went with a lot of like the energy that I like. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna bring a lot of I guess I'll just say it again, energy to your team. And he's dripped out a little bit. He's got a little flow peeking out the back, the eye black rocking, the sleeves, the wrist tape. Yeah, he's a beast. But then also on the NL side, I went with the captain of a team and the team that's in my own division. I went with Francisco Lindor. I like
Steez?
Lindor. He's a little bit more humble about it. You know what I mean? When he hits a home run, even if he pimps it, it's quick. It's short. It's to the point, but it makes you hate him a little bit because he's such a likable guy. Almost plays good, plays with a lot of swagger, plays with a lot of heart, and so that's kind of where I went with that category.
That's a good one, and he's also, a stylish, fashion
Yeah.
guy too. So he's always looking good. He's got like the hair at in times that might be like
Yes.
dyes it. I also had some like I had Ketel Marte in the National League. He
Yeah.
looks like he fills out a jersey real good. He's got steez, and a bunch of swag. He makes second base like feel like shortstop. You know what I mean? In terms of like how cool it is. And then I also had Tarek Skubal on this list.
Oh, he brings not with what he's wearing, but he's got a little swagger to him when
Yeah,
on that
he's a
ball.
little he's a little more different than because you can say like Acuna, Duran, Chisholm, Ketel, like they got like the swag, they got
Well,
like
he's also
chain.
he's just a freaking psychopath.
And Scubal's kind of a different steez, dude, but he still got it. But
Yeah.
I had to lean like the swaggy version,
I
and
love that Scuba pig. He's a psycho on the ball.
he really is. He
Yeah.
really is.
Because you see a lot of these guys, like even like Skeens, like Wheeler, like they're not going to show any emotion, stuff like that. They're just gonna, but Scuba's going to be like barking at you 95% of the time.
I really love it. So those are the first half awards. What we'll have to do is get them together, and then we'll have to like post them or some shit and see what Twitter has to say about our first halfers. And try to get some votes going on. But we got a little bit of time.
Do you want to hit it? We can hit it.
We can race through because there's not so many great matchups, but we just do a little look ahead here.
Do you just want to do the ones we have highlighted?
Yeah, we could pretty much just dwell on those if we have anything good to say.
Yeah, so we'll skip a lot of them. And
Just mention them. We could just mention these look
Yeah.
aheads here, but no need to dwell on like St. Louis, Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Fuck
Yeah,
that.
so we'll start. Yeah, St. Louis, Pittsburgh. I think it's going to be a St. Louis sweep. In all honesty,
I'm fine with it. Yeah, we'll see Skeensy on Tuesday. That's really the only thing.
We'll see Skeens. We'll see Gray. Actually, for Pittsburgh, it's the three people they want pitching, but nobody's going to hit for him. So a bigger, interesting one is you got San Diego, Philly. That's going to be a great one. Waldron versus Wheeler, Pivetta versus Sanchez, and Cease versus Abel. Going to be an awesome series. The Phillies just won 2 out of 3 against the Braves. That was a good series to watch, though, for the Phillies Braves. Phillies put on a freaking clinic after getting shut out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God! After getting swept and shut out by the Stros over there. Scored 1 run or whatever it is, but put on a little bit of a hitting performance on Friday. Otto Kemp with his first big league home run. Saturday went a little quiet. Sean Murphy hit a grand slam. You know, with these divisions, it's hard to sweep anybody. But then, the Phillies 2 out of 3, 5-5 in their last 10. Then the Padres don't really know a whole lot about what they've been up to, but second in the division right now, 6-4 in their last 10. I'm looking for a Phillies to win 2 out of 3 here.
I want that too, and it's at the bank, which is nice. And I like, anytime the Phillies are going to roll out 3 dudes, I just always trust them more. I like Wheeler, Sanchez, Abel. I don't know much about this I think it's his name, Matt Waldron. I don't even know who Waldron is. And I don't like Pivetta, and I don't like Cease. I never did. So fuck them. I hope the Phillies can take 2 out of 3. If they can
Yeah.
win tonight with Wheeler, I think we said this last week when we talked about shit. Win with Wheeler, basically, and then, between Pivetta and Cease, you get one of them, and then boom, there's 2 out of 3. So it's at the
Exactly.
bank. Let's get it.
So then we
We
get to your boys. We'll go back to back with our teams. 4-game series against Toronto in Toronto. Big series. Big, 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 big series for you guys. Toronto's knocking on the door. They have been knocking on the door for a while now. They are now sitting at 3 games back, 45 and 38. You guys are 48 and 35. What are you thinking here, Spin?
We got a 4-game series in Canada. Yankees never get fucking off days. Holy shit. All they do is play, play, play. Yeah, I mean, you got to crush Scherzer tonight with Rodon on the bump. Gausman and Fried is probably going to be the talk of the town. That'll be Tuesday. So that'll be – I don't know if Gausman's considered their ace. Maybe he is. But that's an aces game, if you will. Will Warren and Berrios could also be feisty. Schmidt and Bassett. That could be feisty too. So we're going to see a lot of good pitchers here. And probably the worst pitcher for Toronto is going to be Scherzer, and people are going to want to watch him pitch. For them, the Yankees, their struggles of late haven't been from a lack of pitching. So all these guys can give it to you. Now they are in Toronto, and the way the Yankees are playing right now, I don't really know how high my expectations are. I would say split the series with a division rival. They're not a bad team right now. If you can split the series, get the 50 wins, I'm fine with it. If you can win the series, even better. But Toronto play not awful. I think Vladdy's kind of been waking up a little bit more in the power department. He's making a late push to really be deserving of an all-star spot, which is a good chance he makes it. And you're seeing probably some of their better arms, right? Gausman, Berrios, Bassett. You're going to be seeing them. But, again, the Yankees can compete with you on the bump. Just a matter of how their offense can compete. And right now it's not pretty. So I would say just split, get the 50 wins, and anything else, anything better will be beautiful. But you just can't lose the series.
Yeah, I'll go with a series split as well. But next, we'll get into Cincy and Boston. Nothing really to talk about besides tonight. The young buck, Chase Burns, going against the old head and Garrett Crochet. Crochet obviously looking like a Cy Young. We think Chase Burns might be able to even make a run at Rookie of the Year if he keeps pitching well. So that's going to be a good matchup. Look for Cincy to win 2 out of these because Boston's 3-7 in the last 10.
Yeah, I don't even hate Richard Fitz and Bello, but maybe TBD can outpitch Bello. Who knows? Because I don't think he's been that good. Fitz can shove, but I don't love Singer. I'll also look at Cincy to come into Fenway take 2. I love that.
Yeah. Then we get at the A's versus Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay playing a great brand of baseball. Tampa Bay either going to win this series or sweep in my eyes. Probably more win the series, but
I'm looking at them to sweep. I mean, I look at Rasmussen, Baz, and Pepe. That's who they throw out for you. Good luck, Athletics. Fuck off.
Yeah. Then we get to Baltimore at Texas. Two of the most disappointing teams this year. Playing in Texas. Who really knows? This is a coin flip with how this is going to go. But I'm going to roll with the pitching on the opposite side because they got DeGrom and Eovaldi and Corbin going. DeGrom and Eovaldi are going to get it done for them.
I look at Texas definitely win the series. They're at home. And when, yes, you said DeGrom and Eovaldi get it done. This is, I guess, the Nelson Cruz series. Maybe the Rafael Palmeiro series. I should have Googled if he played for Baltimore. I think he did. Either way, tonight could be a kind of a dumb game. I don't really care too much about Corbin and Trevor Rogers. But then moving on, we will see DeGrom and Eovaldi. Maybe Sugano if you care. If you're maybe a Baltimore fan and you're like, Sugano is my guy. But realistically, let's go for Texas at least 2 out of 3. I hope they sweep.
Then we get to Kansas City at Seattle, 4-game series. Not a whole lot to write home about. We're not seeing Bubic, but we are seeing Kirby, Gilbert, and Wu on the other side. We are seeing Noah Cameron, though, versus a Logan Gilbert. So that will be a good pitching matchup. Probably looking for both these guys, probably split the series as a whole.
Yeah, I think Thursday games, like you said, 4-game set. Thursday's game will be a small slate Thursday, and we could see Lugo and Brian Wu. So maybe we look for a good pitching duel there. But other than that, yeah, like you said, Seattle's got some good notables on the bump. Maybe you can make the same case for Kansas City. No, Cameron Lugo. But either way, yeah, let's go series split because Kansas City can't do shit right now. They're pissing me off. Anytime they have an opportunity to climb, they kind of just stay stagnant. I would love for them to take 3 out of 4, but maybe a series split is – I'll just be content with that for now.
And then we get to San Francisco at Arizona. Definitely a better series. You got Webb, Birdsong, Rupp, and Ray going for San Francisco. Guys they want throwing. Guys they want to have the baseball. And then on the opposite side, Arizona, Ryan Nelson, Rain, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, and then Brandon Pfaadt. So this could be a pretty good pitching series as a whole.
Yeah.
We don't know what Gallen's going to bring out. Merrill Kelly's been consistent. Is Brandon Fact coming back to form? But then the other side, Birdsong's been great for them. Ray and Webb both have been spectacular for the Giants. So this is in Arizona. Arizona looking to make a comeback right now. 41-42, 5-5 in their last 10. San Francisco 45-39, 7.5 games out right now.
Yeah, I think the safe thing to say is San Fran goes to the desert, takes 3 out of 4, and the only game the Diamondbacks win is when Merrill pitches on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That seems to be safe. Obviously, anything could happen. You never know what you're going to get with the Zach Gallen start. There was a time he was so lights out. Then he kind of was like, oh, maybe he's cold to start the year. And now we're at a point where it's like, well, what the fuck is it? So I don't know anything about Zach Gallen. He's unpredictable to a point where I just can't deal with it. And Birdsong can give it to you. So if the Diamondbacks offense is going to be quiet, yeah, I mean, Birdsong can shove. You would expect Webb and Ray to shove because they'll be their all-stars. Not to say Roop can't, but I think Merrill Kelly can outpitch them. But you're going to see some good pitching, and Arizona obviously needs it. Not that Giants don't need it either. I mean, they're now in third place, and Diamondbacks are in fourth. This is a really good division rivals. San Fran's the better team, but we'll see what happens.
There is going to be some star power in this game now. You think about it. Devers on one side, you got Carroll and Marte on the other side, and then we got a bunch of pitchers like we talked about going. So this could be a very good series. Late game baseball too. Late night baseball.
Carroll might be banged up, but either way,
who is
Corbin Carroll?
Is he still? He's still banged up?
He's like on the 10-day IL. I don't know.
I he would be back by now.
I didn't watch much baseball this weekend. Let me see. Yeah, he won't be back till like July 18th. It looks like.
Damn. All right. Well, anyway, still catch out Marte, who's playing like an MVP. Then you get to Minnesota at Miami. Joe Ryan's going, so that's something. Nothing really else to do. Give me Minnesota. No, actually, you know what? Give me Miami 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip around really quick because Minnesota at Miami, and then you also have Angels at Bravos. And the reason I want to kind of mesh these together is because they got to look at Miami and Atlanta, and I alluded to it. Miami's 37-45 with Atlanta 38-45. Miami's a game behind Atlanta in the standings. I don't know if anyone would have thought Miami would be a third-place team around this point. But right now, they have an ugly – they're at home, Miami is, and so are the Braves. But they have an ugly, ugly Minnesota team.
Yeah.
That they could very – I mean, and by the way, Miami's the hottest team in baseball, 8-2 in the last 10 7-game win streak, Miami. If they can continue to do that and crush a shitty Minnesota team, and Atlanta has a little bit more of their work cut out for them because between Atlanta and the Angels, who the Angels are in town in Atlanta, the Angels come to town. Wins are very precious for both the Angels and the Braves. And if the Braves fall because the Angels really are 1 game under and they need to get on, they see that the division is somewhat wide open. They're not that far away from the second place Mariners. And if they can make a push, give the Braves a run for their money, Miami can beat up on Minnesota at home. We might see entering July, Miami being a third-place team in the NL East. How about that?
I think I said this about the Nationals earlier, but like the Nationals and Marlins World Series right now, it's just to beat the Braves in the standings. They don't really have a chance to make the playoffs and everything like that. I think they kind of know that, but for the fans, it's like if we can shove it to Atlanta real quick, like with Chris Sale now being injured too, like Chris Sale's out, you just lost one of your best pitchers, one of the better pitchers in the league. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because they're going to play spoiler, and we'll see what they do. And if they can maybe make somewhat of a push, I don't know. I don't really see it like that, but who knows? I mean, if you win this series, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you start to say if you could be 500 at the All-Star break, and now you start those types of goals for yourself. But we'll just see one series at a time, one game at a time, how they look. They are the hottest team in baseball, where Washington has been really cold. So I don't know if anyone saw Washington being a last place team this year. They are currently in last place. I had them in 4th place with obviously the big 3, what we thought was the big 3, and then Miami or Washington, Miami. But now there's a decent chance it could go Miami enters the 3 conversation with the Braves and then Washington and dead fucking last, which would be crazy.
Well, also speaking of Washington, Detroit's in town, so it's not looking great for them.
Yeah, that's the Doug Fister series.
You're looking. We get Mackenzie Gore. We get Flattery this one. Trevor Williams and Irvin. Is that Dietrich Enns? Is that what that
Dietrich
says?
Enns, he might be like an opener or whatever
No,
he
yeah.
is. I don't know what he
But
is.
look for Detroit to go in and sweep, get back to the winning baseball that they are. They are on a 2-game win streak right now, but they are 5-5 in their last 10.
Yeah, let's just go Detroit. Fuck it.
This actually, you don't have this one highlighted, but this could be a very, very good series and a very important series for the Mets. Milwaukee going into Queens. Milwaukee's 8-2 in their last 10. Mets are not that. The Mets are 3-7 in their last 10. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Freddie Peralta, Clay Holmes, Mizorowski versus Tidwell, and Jose Quintana versus David Peterson. This could smell a lot of trouble for the Mets and look real good for Milwaukee. Milwaukee's only 2 games back, I think, right now.
They are. They're 10 games above, 2 games back. Mets are 1.5 back, though. They are the home team.
And when they've got their 3 pitchers they want going into Queens against a struggling, like their bats are not there right now, struggling Mets team. If Milwaukee can sweep this, I think Frank the Tank might die.
If they sweep, it'd be crazy. Now, I mean, the Mets didn't look good against the Mets got swept by Pittsburgh over the weekend. That's crazy. How about that? And how about like you said, Freddie Peralta, Mizorowski, Quintana, the big, dare I call it the big 3 over there? I mean, those are probably the 3 guys you'll want to start the week, right? And we'll see Freddie twice this week for Milwaukee, but he'll start the week strong with them. But Clay Holmes, Tidwell, this is Tuesday stuff, right? Tidwell, David Peterson. David Peterson fucked me because I thought he was going to pitch well against Pirates, and he killed me in fantasy. He got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I like Mets pitching. I talked about this. I can't keep talking about it enough. Now a lot of them are hurt. Who is there to save the day? Blade Tidwell with the injuries. Hey, Kodai's hurt. Let's bring in Blade Tidwell. And I looked up Blade Tidwell because I didn't know who the fuck this guy was. He has kind of a cool name, Blade. And I wish I could tell you that Tidwell did well, but in 3 starts, I mean, he's kind of like not a big innings eater. He gives up runs. His ERA is over 10. Doesn't, like I said, maybe like 3 innings here, 3 innings there. So maybe that's considered a bullpen game when Tidwell pitches. I would love for Milwaukee to win, and they have the pitching to do it. Let's go Mizorowski.
Yeah.
On Wednesday.
Peralta's like you're getting to like a Cy Young level guy this year with Peralta's numbers too.
That's true. But we have Mizorowski Wednesday. That'd be fun.
Ooh, yeah.
Like Mizorowski Wednesday.
All right. Well, I definitely think Milwaukee's winning that series. I wouldn't even be shocked if they swept them.
I really hope they do sweep, and that'd be 6 in a row for the Mets. So that's be crazy. But I do like Milwaukee to win the series, and I really hope that they sweep.
Yeah, I really want to see the turmoil. But then we get to Cleveland and Chicago. Like we said, back to back here. We were talking about Milwaukee, only 2 games back. They're playing a struggling Mets team. Chicago is now also playing a struggling Cleveland team. Cleveland. 4-game losing streak, 3-7 in their last 10. They got Gavin Williams, Bibby, and Ortiz, while Chicago's got Boyd, Imanaga. Imanaga first start back?
No.
He's been back?
He's been back.
Okay. Don't listen to me. Cade Horton, a third. So Matthew Boyd also been pitching like almost an all-star this year. Imanaga's Imanaga, and then Cade Horton. So Chicago's probably going to look to sweep the series and gain a little ground, hopefully, on Milwaukee.
Looks like his second start back, though. So you're right there. And in his first start back was at St. Louis, 5 scoreless innings and a win against.
The Cubs need that. They need that bad.
Yeah. And now you got now he's going to be at home. So you could say this is his first start at Wrigley since coming off the IL. But not terrible on all little pitching duels here. Like I don't know if Gavin Williams' numbers blow you away, but I don't think he's like this bad, terrible pitcher. And Boyd has been all-star caliber this year.
Yeah.
Bybee, similar to, I don't know if he's blow you out of the water, but we've seen Bybee pitch well at times. Imanaga's can be great. And then Ortiz and Cade Horton, it's not like it could be like maybe they both get exploded, but I've seen good stuff out of them this year. I don't know how consistent it's been, but you have reason to believe that could be a cutesy little matchup too for a little light Thursday. I want to see I want to see the Cubs take 2 out of 3 here.
Yeah, and I think they will probably keep the ground on the Brewers a little bit. But hey, I told you I was high on the Brewers when we started this year.
I had him in second place. I did.
Yeah, they're right back there. So I'd love to see the Brewers take first place at least a little bit.
right now, if Cincy and St. Now, I didn't have them making the playoffs though, but I did have them as
Yeah.
a second place team with the Cubs in first, Pirates in last. If St. Louis and Cincy switch positions in the standings, that's how I had it.
And
But
Cincinnati, I mean, Cincinnati might be playing some turnaround baseball here. They've got the when their role players are playing well, because now we know they have the pitching. We know it. We know they have the pitching. Can Hunter Green stay healthy? We don't know yet. But even with Burns, Abbott, Lodolo, Martinez, like those are still some guys who are going to give you some really good starts. So
yeah, I didn't Nick Martinez just have like a perfect game going in his last start.
Was that?
What was that? And then he got blown. It got broken at like
Yeah, no hitter.
no hitter going until like I guess the ninth. He went 8. He went 8 full, and then maybe someone hit a homer in the ninth or some shit. I wasn't even really watching baseball this weekend. I was fucking out of town.
Yeah, but yeah, he did. So was I. So
yeah, we saw him, but we saw also go down. So either way, he's been up and down, but he's been a reliable arm. If he's like your number 5 guy, I'm not mad at it either way. But how about this? Cleveland 40-42, 3-7 in their last 10 on a 4-game losing streak. Really good opportunity for the Cubs, who might be not like a terrible skid, but 4-6 in their last 10. Good opportunity. Yeah, good opportunity to continue this. While Milwaukee might have a little bit more of their work cut out for them. Granted, the Mets are cold, but still, Mets can stick it to you if they have to. But Milwaukee's been on a tear, 8-2 in their last 10, and now you can gain some ground, stay afloat against a Cleveland team. So let's go Cubs. You're out. You are home too. Well, Milwaukee will be entering Queens.
Then we get Houston at Colorado. Houston's one of the best teams in baseball versus Colorado. Dumpster fire. I'm the Houston win the series for sweeping. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. We get to see Hunter Brown this series, so that's good.
Yeah, so we'll see who's Houston's guys. Colton Gordon, Hunter Brown, Brandon Walter. So maybe Houston's been doing shit like that where like maybe they get good outings from like some guys you never heard of.
Of course they do.
Brandon Walter. But here's the big storyline here is that the Rockies have 19 wins on the season. Do they get to 20?
With Houston? No.
so they get swept.
I would say yeah, because they just won a game, so now they can get swept again.
Okay, so do you think the Yankees can get to 50 wins? They're at 48, and then who did we say that it was a 4-game series against Toronto? So do you think by Friday the Yankees will have 50 wins before the Rockies have 20 wins?
Yes.
Okay, let's roll with that.
I'll say yes. I'll say yeah, 100%. And then we get to White Sox at the Dodgers. Bonus for White Sox fans. So you're seeing Shane Smith and Sean Burke versus one of the best lineups in baseball. So you really get to see what they're made of. That's exciting if you're them. But then it's not exciting. You got to face Yamamoto, Kershaw, and Dustin May. So that kind of sucks.
And we will see the young guys. That I guess if there is one notable part about the White Sox this year, they're not as bad as last year. Sure, they're still bad. And there's some bright spots in their pitching staff. Not to say it's perfect, not to say it's beautiful, but there's a little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel when you kind of look at the White Sox staff this year.
You got some young guys out there too in the field who are playing well. I think you dump Luis Roberts at the deadline, get some more picks or maybe some more young talent, and just roll with it.
Yeah, I agree. So now with these young dudes, Shane Smith, Sean Burke, as you mentioned, coming into the Lions' den at Chavez Ravine. How does Shane Smith stack up against Yamamoto? Sean Burke can he go toe-to-toe with Kershaw? I think he does not, because who did Kershaw pitched against? I'm not gonna fucking be able to find it. It was one of his starts. I don't know if it was it. I think it was this one. I think when he pitched against Washington on June 20th. Remember we were talking about it was Mackenzie Gore and Kershaw.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were like, maybe Mackenzie Gore loved Kershaw growing up. We were saying shit like
that. I do. We're
like, is he from California? It's like, no, he's from North Carolina. But either way, I remember Kershaw like watching a little bit of that game because I was like, okay, this could be cool. Old lefty, young lefty. And I think Kershaw was looking across the diamond and saying, I'm going to outpitch this young fucker. And Kershaw ended up getting a win in that game. Let me see if
gotta let him know Daddy's still home.
So I think that's what's going to happen with Sean Burke and Kershaw.
Yeah.
I think Kershaw's going to let him know Daddy's home. Where 5 2/3, 5 earned for Gore when he went into the Lions den. He's actually on a 3-game losing streak. Not that he's been pitching that bad. And then Kershaw went like 5 like really good innings against them, and he obviously got the run support. So that's the other thing, right? I mean, the Dodgers are going to get these guys run support. I think we could expect. Do we expect a sweep? I mean, the White Sox aren't that rollover team like they were last year.
No, they're not. But I would probably go with the sweep. The Dodgers are looking to have the best record in baseball after this series. Honestly,
Who were the so wait, what's Detroit doing? So Detroit is 5-5 in the last 10. Dodgers playing good ball, 7-3. They have the
Dodgers are
same
playing
record.
Washington. I think Washington's more likely to beat the Dodgers than the White Sox are more likely. Sorry. Yeah, the Washington's more likely to beat the Tigers than the White Sox are to beat the Dodgers.
Okay, I think I have it the other way around.
Really?
Yeah, I think the White Sox could be more inclined to beat up on win one of these games, where I think Tigers can sweep. I don't know if the Dodgers sweep.
All right, that's interesting. Well, yeah. So who do you think has the best record in baseball after these two series then?
Detroit.
Detroit? See, I think it's gonna be the Dodgers.
So we'll have to revisit that come Wednesday because we'll know by Thursday, right?
Yep. All right, man. That's it. That's it for the look ahead.
How do you like that? That's our Monday look ahead with a halfway point award ceremony. We'll post our awards though. We got to give our shout outs to our fuckers. But that's great. And now Wednesday will be live at 9:30. And we might have some shit because they did do the second round of All-Star voting is out.
I know, and we have to talk about that.
We got to get into that. So stay tuned, everybody. Wednesday, that Sean Spit in the morning. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you Wednesday, 9:30.